Welcome back to Buzz on Veterans. I'm your co-host, Captain Rick Hoffman. I'm joined by my other co-hosts, Ron and Megan and Phil. Thank you so much for rejoining me today. And we're teaming up on my very, very dear friend, Matt Tuohy. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you, Rick.
And you're now with the Aviation Department at Jacksonville University and have been there for many years.
About 12 this time and 4 the first time.
And you're a JU alumnus.
I am.
You were at one point, as I recall, the president of the Alumni Association.
I was for 3 years.
Yeah. Congratulations.
My wife says I'm too much of a joiner.
Too much of a joiner?
Joiner.
I'm real bad. I'm really bad at saying no myself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's why I have a second beer.
Exactly.
So one of the things I like to talk about, Matt, is you served for 30 years. You commanded an aircraft carrier. You had command of the command and control ship for the mine hunters in Southeast Texas. But since you left the Navy, you continue to serve. Talk a little bit about that transition, and then how do you feel about the service that you continue today here in Jacksonville?
Well, thanks, Rick. It's I think it's very, very important that we realize that when you and I retired, that was just before the world changed. Yeah. I was on terminal leave when 9/11 happened and that type of stuff. And as we, when you and I left, that was one set of circumstances. As these young people that then went overseas to defend our way of life were coming back, they were facing a much different set of circumstances. So I felt very strongly that I should get involved in some things, and the Navy League started me out, and then
you and I were dueling Navy League presidents at one
point. Yes, sir.
Jacksonville, as you may not know, Jacksonville and Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia have 5 separate. Yeah. Only 25% of all the Navy League membership in the world is within 100 miles of where we're sitting.
It's pretty close to that, I think. But
yeah.
I finally was able to sort of move on to other things after 20 plus years. So working at JU, working with young people, that was great and that type of thing. And then, as you and I discussed once, when you called me and said, "I got this guy I want you to talk to. You've lost and found more jobs than anybody I know." I was working for a staffing arm of Florida Blue.
Yeah.
And one of the things that my boss hired me to do was start a veterans program. So we were able to get in at the beginning and what has become the Jacksonville Military Veterans Coalition. And we basically started the private side of the public-private partnership job for vets with the city. And it's a website where companies can put their information up and a link to their job boards, and you have to be offering a job. This isn't a marketplace to sell things. This is a marketplace to provide employment. And that led to being, our group ran the first ever job fair at a TPC tournament.
And now it's a fixture.
Right, we just had our 15th anniversary, and it's amazing. We're now, first of all, it's amazing how many people have been there all 15 years. I mean, as we set up for the job fair, it's, people you hadn't seen since last year.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting how many people that are now coming back manning the tables were originally hired by their companies.
From one side to the other side of the table.
Exactly. And so, and again, as you get involved in those things, you just kind of continue to be involved.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And it's, at the end of the day, you knew you're doing something good.
Yeah.
For people that deserve it. Matter of fact, you're doing it for people that there's no one that deserves it more.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved and stay involved.
Fantastic. Well, Phil with Team Red, White, and Blue is in an adjacent space to you. Talk a little bit about Red, White, and Blue.
So we connect veterans to the community through physical fitness and social activity. So weekly events, rucks, runs, swims. We had a social meetup last night. So we feel like the community is better when veterans are engaged in the community, and veterans are better when the community is engaged in it.
Exactly. It's interesting when you say adjacent space. Early on, when we first started this, there was some criticism that there were too many programs to help veterans. and my take was always, well, when we run out of veterans that need help, then we can talk about redundancy, And so that was 15 years ago, and we still are at the point where we really need to discuss redundancy because we still have many, many people that can use some assistance.
Well, one of the other things that we want to talk about today is we just celebrated the 250th anniversary of our independence. And what does that mean to you, Matt?
Well, to some of my students, they think I was around when it happened. I tried to explain to them that no, not quite. But You know, it's interesting if you're a student of history, as I know you are. You know, I mean, there was really no guarantee that this great experiment was going to work.
I mean,
You know?
Benedict Arnold
Yeah,
was convinced that it
wasn't going to.
And,
Exactly.
and he's only a traitor today only because it actually did work.
Yeah, because he was wrong. But the
It's true.
Yeah.
but the interesting thing is that as you look through the